We are live.
Cool beans.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. My turn to host the live book discussion in our group read along. Very excited to have Admiral Star Knight here with us today.
Hi, everyone.
Before, yeah, give everyone a chance to do introductions and everything. But if I don't play this, I'm going to get in trouble with Pete, so I can't forget. There we go. All right.
I like it. I
Book
need one of those.
4. Super easy to get set up. Happy to help you guys there. Book 4, Lost Fleet series. Spoiler warnings ahead for anybody watching this. And yeah, Carl from Geek on My Sleeve, go ahead and do a sound off. Should we also take the time to plug other stuff we got going on as well?
Yeah, I don't mind that.
All right. Ramsey.
So I started the read along of Lost Fleet. Started on my Discord channel, and you guys joined in, and we've had a couple other people join as well, which Admiral Star Knight, who's joining us this time as the disembodied voice, and Rowdy Bob, and a couple other people are pretty up to date with the books with us, and it's been a fun little read along. We haven't always loved the dialogue, but the story has been great. And I know Admiral Star Knight and Carl are a little bit farther than we are. Me and Joe are first timers, but I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm doing a couple other read alongs, so if you wanted to go to my channel, Rajathon, if you search it and type exactly Rajathon, you'll find it. If not, it's everything Indian. I didn't think that through, but
we'll get links down below after the show.
Yeah, that's fine. And then I have a couple of the read-alongs in the Discord. You can find that if you'd like. And that's all I got for now. Yeah, that's me.
All right, well, I'm Joe. Hello. I do sci-fi, military sci-fi, space opera kind of booky reviews and stuff. These two people as well are with us. We're doing a writer's journey thing, usually every Sunday, every other Sunday. I do it mostly every Sunday, but they sort of tag on every other. To talk about our experience as green writers and what we're learning and not learning and so on and so forth. I do author interviews. I have authors who come on and they talk about their books and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much me. Simple, really. That's it. I'm not really big myself up. I'm not that sort of person.
And last but not least, joining us live today is...
Okay, sorry guys. I'm Admiral Star Knight, and I am a general variety gamer, author, writer, reader, marathoner, whatever. I do a lot of stuff, but I don't have a big presence in any real community. I have a YouTube channel, I have Twitter, and I have Facebook, but my biggest project at the moment is I'm writing a naval space opera on Wattpad, which is currently 8 chapters in. Chapter 9's in the works right now, and I'm just glad I could be joining everyone here to discuss one of my favorite sci-fi series out there.
Yeah, I've read up
everyone
to
here
chapters
to discuss
of, I've read up to 4 chapters of the book you're doing on Wattpad, and I like it a lot. I'm catching up on it.
No, thank you very much.
Yeah, I've read the first bit. The first bit that you sent us, I've done that as well. So I'm following it. Not quite as far as you're writing, but I am following.
Yeah, going to have to grab those links after the stream.
Oh, slacking.
Down below. Yeah, I'm a slacker.
That's okay. I only said I was able to join you a couple days ago, anyways. So it's not like you were very prepared.
All good. It's nice to have solid group today. I won't be the only one trying not to spoil the rest of the series. So the burden's not all on me. And yeah, where do we want to start, guys? Book 4 out of 6.
Who wants to take the recap?
Do you know, I was thinking about this earlier. I can't remember what happened. Even though I enjoyed this book, just sort of, I read it so quick, it just was in and out of it. I did it in like a day or two.
Yeah.
So
I think
the
that
first.
was my favorite one.
I've got to turn my volume up. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for me for the first series. So, Ramsey, you were offering to do the recap?
I can if you like.
Please.
All right, so recap. Let's here. I'll get a little Wikipedia help too. Lost Fleet Valiant. As I remember, so we were coming. I can remember it. I don't need to look.
So he retreated, didn't he? He had his first loss, retreated.
Yeah, there was the big loss at Axiom, I believe. I don't have the
Lakota.
map, but I think you have. Yes, Lakota. And so we jumped out of the main star system. They had a hypernet gate there. And so a bunch of ships came that didn't know they were supposed to be coming. And so it caused the big battle. They jump away and then immediately jump back. So when they jump back, they get back and basically they're only the ships that have been damaged. And they've got civilian repair ships working on them. And what they do is they go and they individually attack them. And then all the ships that are destroyed, they disable them. Lace them with bombs and
put the mines on the cores, the fuses on the cores. That's it. Yeah.
And get all the materials from the civilian carriers. So as they're going into attack, they lure them into the ships that have been bombed, basically destroying the whole inner part of the formation, and then take out the rest of the outside. Lose very few ships, works out really well for them, and then they move out of that system into a pirate system where basically they're doing a bunch of stuff under the table. The syndics don't really know about it. They go in and out of the system in no time, don't really mess with anybody. Then they pop into another system where it's like a dying system, and they rescue a bunch of syndic civilians, which is really, really cool. I'm glad that they did. And then as they're going to jump out of that system, a worm has been installed on all the hypernet drives, or not hypernet drives, the jump drives. And so the Dauntless, the guy that wants him to be a dictator, and Cressida's ship all would have never come out of jump space. And so then they find the worms, they get out into the next system. And the guy on the ship, the civilian they rescued, his sister is the CEO of the planet. So they drop him off, and then she becomes kind of friendly to them. They have another fight, and that's kind of the end. There's more details if we want to talk about it, but that's kind of a general what happened.
No, I completely agree. I don't think. Did you like? I know you said it's one of your favorite. What did you really like about this, Ramsey?
It was the inner like sitting at the conference table was better. Like we didn't have as much of the
issues got removed, didn't they?
Yeah, it wasn't as much of the when there was a fight, and two of the ship captains who had been kind of thorn in his side showed themselves to be cowards, and so they were going to be killed anyway. And then, that's the part I didn't even talk about. So when they were bringing them over to the ship,
the shuttle blew up.
Yeah, that shuttle was blown up, probably tampered with, probably basically they were killed because they were going to talk. Falco, his ship was blown up, so he died. And like I think I can't remember that other captain's name, Fascia. And then Numos is the only one still alive that's kind of not his friend. But there's another captain somewhere that is doing something. Like, we're not sure exactly who, but kind of the opposition to Geary. But we don't know who that is.
Did Numos... I thought he was one who died on the shuttle.
No, that was Fariza and Yin.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. The two who replaced him. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Gosh, memory went completely then.
A lot of big players off the board in this book.
They needed a go though. They were dragging it down a bit because they was interested in the first book, the second book. By the third book, it kind of resolved it a bit, but then they were a bit of a pain. It's like it really did feel like they just got rid of some characters, added some new ones, put new names on them. They're exactly the same people. So them getting rid of the two who replaced, and then Falco going, his story was done and dusted. He could just stayed in the brig and nothing would have happened, or he died. But the fact he died on that ship, was fair enough. I was happy with that. Falco's done. His story served its purpose, and he was a one and done good story.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
It definitely felt like this book was more action focused and a lot less of the politics since we got rid of those players. Yeah.
And also, to be fair, this book, as since it's the fourth out of 6,
yes,
it is starting to gear up towards the end as they get closer and closer. It's like, I know it seems kind of like Geary likes to sort of wish-wash. It's like, oh, we're still so far from home, but it's like as the books go on.
If you look at the map, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, it's just fine. It's like I don't even know if I still have a map somewhere. I know I have it in one of my books, but
he's traveled some serious distance. Like, look at the map. So what I mean?
They're getting there, and it's like eventually they're gonna. Since there's only 2 books left, they're either going to complete their mission and get home, or they're not. So the fact that the drama is starting to pick up, they're getting home, the losses are kind of stacking. The losses and the victories are stacking up. The Syndicate are getting more desperate. The aliens are getting more alien.
But at the same time, the Syndics, even though they're desperate, they're becoming a lot more smarter. They've really changed their tactics and really evolving. Like, they're nowhere near as Geary's level, but they're pulling out stuff. They're doing their research to try and counter him by doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting better. I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think the aliens are helping them. Like, if the aliens hadn't helped at all in Lakota, I think it probably would have been fine. But having that huge armada come in, that really threw a wrench in. That's why Geary lost that battle.
And with the Syndicate CEO, the second level one that they got for interrogation, definitely moved it along with the alien conspiracy.
You knew it was going there anyway.
What he did and didn't confirm, just like those of us who have read stuff will or will not confirm details. But yeah, that's moving along, seeing the tension there, planting the seeds with the syndicates. The legend of Blackjack is growing and growing. Are we still voting for dictator, or I don't know. And then the love triangle add some more drama there.
Dude, I seriously thought that like this Johnny and Geary were gonna like go at it in his cabin at one point.
A bit too much talk of honor there, but
I like the fact they haven't. Sorry, I keep kind of cross you.
No, it's okay. It's like I don't have much to say on that. It's like they're a little. Both of them are a little too honor bound to the actual rules. It's like this isn't, it isn't Rion, who's a politician and a civilian outside the bounds of the law. It's like if this was anybody else, if it was like, I don't want to say if it was Falco, but if Geary was anybody else and Dejani was anybody else, it would have happened. But Geary and Dejani just have too much of that old-fashioned, ancestor save me sort of attitude to actually break the rules.
I feel like for Geary, as much as it's that, I feel like a lot of it is because he's got to hold his fleet together. He knows if he does that in a way, it could tarnish everything that he's trying to mold the fleet to. Even though he could get away with it, it could be hypocritical of what he's trying to do with the fleet. So that's part of why he doesn't want to do it. So he, you know what I mean? Look, I'm straight and proper. As much as he believes it, he's got to show them that he can do it, even though he knows he could get away with it. Obviously, he wants to do it, but he's not going to do it. But yeah, you know
Blackjack
what I mean?
could, but not John Geary, right?
He could definitely get away with it. That's for sure.
And that's what they like about each other, that they're so honorable. But yeah, we definitely saw the tension build up and the foreplay as they're planning out the battles. And yeah.
What do you guys think about saving enemy civilians? I thought that was pretty cool.
The people in the end, you know what I mean? It's no difference from people's people.
For
and
me,
I think.
Oh, go ahead, Admiral.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't really have any. The thing about showing that the syndicate worlds do actually have relatable civilians really helps humanize them, because at first they were just this far back fleet of, warships and worlds which were bombarded, and we never even saw them even when we were in their home system and in Sanseer and stuff. They were just far away, but seeing them up close on the deck, a child protecting their mother and stuff like that, it's like they're actually humans. It's like, why are we still doing this? What's it for?
I feel like it's a big part of this series and everything, because the whole concept of Blackjack, the long lost hero coming back from 100 years, and what changes over that period. And like the first book, he's just all blown away by the war atrocities that is just commonplace now. So yeah, following the rest of the main cast kind of regress, if you will, and go back to like, if it's going to be us versus them, well, now there's a new them, right? Whether it be aliens or all the other evils. But it's one of the things I really like about the series is that concept, as well as just like Blackjack, how much time we spend in his head, kind of like thinking about the people and how to live up to the expectations that everybody sets for him, whether it be deity, admiral, whatever.
I'm really intrigued about who the person who's setting up the worms and all the stuff on the ships, like who this guy is or girl. You know, I'm very intrigued about that, because it's got to be someone we know. I know you know, but like it's got to be someone we know. It'd be kind of a bit sort of like, oh, it's just a new character who's just been like, insert new problem. Where if it's someone who's already we know, it's like, wow, they actually didn't believe, they weren't talking like that originally or something. That's what I feel.
Well, I had a moment where they were kind of explaining it, where I thought it was the aliens that were like hijacking our system to install the worms. But then I haven't really decided what it is yet. But we had a big chat in the Discord about when that guy came forward and set, whatever channel he was watching. And it was very hinted to. It was like, something bad is on this channel, and I don't want my name attached to it. And we were like, what would it be? Would it be, pornography? Would it be torture? What it was. And I personally thought it was really cool that it was left ambiguous, where our imaginations could make it as dark as we wanted to make it. But on the other hand, if we didn't want to imagine something really, really dark, we didn't have to. We could just imagine whatever our darkest thought would be.
And as a writer, it allows him to kind of skate that line, right, to keep it appropriate for everyone, like imply how awful it is that it needs to be hidden, yet don't have to get graphic about it.
You said you thought it was aliens. I don't think it's aliens, on the simple fact that they would have just crashed and let every ship just crash and die. They only targeted them 3, so they, why would they want the humans to go? You know what I mean?
Joe, but feather or lead?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but then just take Geary out. Why take out your supporters? Well, it doesn't matter. Geary's gone.
Yeah.
There is. I have the book in my hand. I'm flipping through the pages, and I got to the part where they figured out the alien worm,
Mhm.
and they figured out how to kill and eliminate
Yeah.
the alien worm. So whatever, I guess is a better term. Whatever the aliens are doing with that worm either can't be done anymore because it's part of the security protocols now, because I remember that part quite clearly, or so it's going to be much harder for the aliens to get those worms back in. So hopefully that won't happen again. As I'm flipping through the pages where
The way you're saying it, hopefully that won't happen again. It's like,
bum,
I can
bum.
hear in your voice, he's smirking. It's like, okay, so they're going to do it again, are
Is
they?
it
I'm trying to
misdirection?
I'm trying to prevent spoilers. It's like I might be misleading you. You don't know me. You can't see my face.
So me and Ramsey, the other night, we were talking about it, and we was going on the wiki just looking up some of the map stuff, and I clicked on something, and I was like, boom, loads of information. I just sort of scanned. I was like, no, I just saw names. Clicked on. I was like, I just saw the aliens' names.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
You have to be
for me,
careful.
I know. Because I was looking up the maps just because we're just going. Like we're trying to work out the lines, weren't it? Something about
Yeah.
what lines.
Let me see. I bet I can
Something.
pull it up and I can share my screen with you guys. Let me see.
Pass home.
Fleet map.
Yeah, I think if this series were to have like in the front of the books, I don't know if any of the hardbacks maybe had them in them, but if they were to have a map of where the fleet is or where the main characters are or whatever, especially for like when we get the Lost Stars, if they were to have that just in the front of the book so they could cut out anything they didn't want to show, so that way you don't have to go onto the wiki and be spoiled for the next the next 20 books.
Because that's the thing.
Or you
Like,
just binge them.
I've got the books, and like every book, they've got the map, but it's like right at the back, in between other. Like, so you've got the preview chapter, I think. Well, they've like the first quite a few preview chapters. Then you've got him talking about whatever. Then you've got the map at the back. It's really tucked away. The map should be at the front of the books.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I only stumbled across it just because flicking through, just being like nosy at the book. But I don't know. Have you got all the books, or have you just got that one book?
I listen to the audiobooks and I
Yeah.
only have the paperbacks. So the paperbacks don't have any
Yeah, see, my paperback
star
does.
charts or any. Oh, that's
old
Yeah.
that's nicer
don't.
than mine. What's your
Yeah.
cover look like? Is it the same?
Right, so
bad
this is
cover
the
as
one.
rest of us?
No, see, I've got the newer
Okay,
one.
no, that's a better one. Okay,
Yeah.
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 See, in this, every maps as the book is. So, like, obviously, the victorious one is
Here, I'll share
they across the line. It shows you where, like, this one, they're only like, yeah. What do you know? What I'm going to show you the map to as I'm talking about. I'm just give me a moment. I think it's going to be a sideways view.
All right.
Make sure I can see it.
Oh yeah, I can
You know?
I can see it.
Oh, nice.
So they're obviously there. There they are. It's really weird doing that. So they're there. So they've only got a little way to go, and that's what what you're saying before about Geary saying he's not, he's got so far to go. They're going to make it. It's like, man, you're a gnat's cock away, mate. You're nearly there. Like, why are you saying, I'm going to make it? I mean, you've done more distance 3 times over already.
You
Right,
can.
granted.
I pulled up a pretty good map if you want to.
Yeah,
I
show
shared
the
my
map.
screen if you want to see it.
Yeah. I was about to say, usually have
Try not to look at it too long because it's got a little bit of spoilers.
P who does all this stuff. How do we enable share screen?
I think you just.
If you send him the link, he might actually, because he can share stream himself.
Oh, I got it.
There you go. All right.
I set it up to share mine.
Oh yeah, it's got that whole.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, there's all.
It's got some spoilers in it, so don't look at it too long.
Yeah.
So we started here, and then came down. What was it through?
Yeah. He come all the way down.
Taliban, and then we jumped back to Sand Creek, right?
Okay.
Leon, and we went down this way. So we just got done with Lakota.
You're there, where your cursor is.
Jump through.
Lakota, and
Wendig.
Bronwyn, Wendig.
And then Kavlos
Yeah.
is where we end the book, right?
Yeah.
So we're
Okay.
not far. Here's Alliance space right here. But yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not far at all.
Almost there. Bum, bum,
getting
bum, bum,
close.
bum. I want to give
move around.
Jack Campbell a shout out for, as I was going back and listening to this, it's probably been well over a year since I listened to it the last time around. And even though I've been following along with the read along where we're doing about like what, one a month or so, still sleep, go through a number of other books before coming back to this one. And he does a really good job of like bringing back in those key details to remind us why it's crucial. As I was going back through and listening to the beginning of the book, it's like, okay, yeah, like I know that, but at the same time, yeah, remind me why we care about the syndicate, hyperspace, you know, key, doohickey, whatever, or like why we're talking about light speed and the combat working this way. Just
Guess it depends on how you view it. I think I said in the Discord, it's like the biggest flaw is that he tries to make every book part of the series
Independent.
and a standalone,
Yeah.
which works for a person who might be picking these books up one by one over a year, like you all are doing, or somebody who just doesn't read fast at all. But then there's me who listened to literally the whole series before I had to come back and reread Valiant, so I knew where to stop my spoilers. And I mean, I've listened to it. It was like I started in like November. I started the series again in November, and I listened to the whole thing up to the last book before Beyond the Frontier, before stopping at that last chapter. I don't know how many hours of audiobooks that is. I've been listening to it all during work.
they're
So when you
pretty
blast
small,
through it,
though, as a book.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it just kind of hurts when you're like, it's like, I know this already. I listened to it 5 times in the last 3 days. Why do you keep reminding me,
Yeah,
Campbell?
see, I don't like it. It's starting to annoy me as well. It's like I'm quite good at retaining like information about like how the technical stuff works, and I'm 4 books in of being told the same stuff, and it's kind of like you could be giving me other information now. Again, it's because he's, you know, because he hasn't named it like Lost Fleet Book 4. It's all different titles, so hopefully someone just picks it up and they can go into it, which I get. But for people who are reading it as a series, it's kind of like there's so much. You give me other information. It kind of feels like a filler. In a way, it's just to make his book that little bit longer, because quite a lot of it, there is a fair chunk of it of just rehashing the same stuff.
I think he could have probably taken these 6 books and made it 3, because they're only like they're less than 300. But every one of them's less than 300 pages. I think he could have easily done this as a trilogy, but
No, they're just short of 400, aren't they?
On mine, I got 280, 283.
Oh no, yeah, that's right. No, because I'm looking at the. Ignore me. No, because I'm the second chapters. Because on this book you get
Oh, like going into the next book.
No, it's not. No. So mine finishes. Yeah, mine finishes there. No, it's 365 pages. Mine is.
Mine's teeny tiny, and I'm only 283.
Yeah, 284 is what it goes to.
There is something that tells you reading time.
Audiobooks all the way. Sorry, guys, I couldn't tell you what page number.
Well, you know, I who narrates the audiobooks on Lost Fleet?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. They're good though. That's for sure.
I like them. I'll have to look it up.
Just one.
And that's one of those things I've it's one of those things I keep saying. It's like, I think I've explained to you guys before. I just don't want to seem like I'm repeating myself. But when the dialogue seems to get kind of samey, the narrator comes in and he does accents for all the characters. So all the characters do distinguish themselves. You know, he has a voice for Duellos, for Dejani, for Rion, for Geary, and they all become separate characters. So rather than reading, you know, the same text over and over, it's like you hear the slower accent of Tulev or the more exotic accent of Duellos or something, and it helps the brain mesh, you know, who's talking when, especially when it gets wordy sometimes.
Christian Rummel
Christian Rummel. There we go.
narrates it.
I wonder what other books he's done.
I think this is the only one of his I've listened to, but he does a good job with the Lost Fleet series.
Did you guys think that he was writing the strengths of military women and the pitfalls of being with an ordinary woman, with how much he, like how he did Rion, and then how much he made Disjani and Cressida seem like great women? Like, I was noticing that. Like,
Yeah.
he has a bias on military women compared to regular women.
I think he's had a bad experience with someone, and that's he's imprinted that on Rion or whatever. I think that woman, she's definitely someone he's been with before, and he's like, oh, I didn't like her. I'm going to make this character like her, so everyone else don't like her. I know it.
Write what you know.
Yeah, that's it. He does do a good job with military women. Like none of them are like, oh no, they're fragile little. You know, they're like how they would be. You know, that's how I would experience or think a military person should, like, female would be, from the people I've known.
I like the way that he, even though I feel like he does kind of make Rion a little unbelievable. Like, her scenario could be believable. Like, you know, she finally is with a man after 10 years of hoping her husband would come back, and then finally gives up and finds that relationship. And then she finds out her husband may not be dead, and then tries to go back to him, but realizes at the same time that she's not the one that he really wants to be with. So she is basically pushing him away to... She thinks that no matter what, they're just going to get together anyway. So she's like, might as well just let y'all have it. You know, I don't want to be the third wheel on this thing. So I can see where she's coming from, but the way she was written, it was like, you want to hate her.
She's very childish.
You understand where she's coming from.
Yeah, it definitely was a different tone, this book, with them like officially being done, and the tension there, just the whole love triangle dynamic. One of the things I was thinking about, not directly related, but again, I just feel that Rion is always used as our, like, explain it like I'm 5-bit, the civilian perspective, on like working that into the dialogue. And yeah, just I don't know. It's the dynamics are interesting. Trying to think of what. Yeah. I think further along in the series is like, wait, stop, rewind, go back.
It's like I could see as I'm looking at the screen, I could see on your face. It's like, what? Where do I stop with the reveals? And I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it.
It's hard. It's hard. But again, all the motives in this book, it was analyzing, like, Rion. She confessed to being willing to kill him, and I think in this book, call me out if I'm wrong, you know, they reveal with the previous Admiral Block that part of the reason she was there was to keep him in check, and revealing,
that's correct.
Yeah, further.
If he was going to try and pull Dictatorship, she was going to kill him, weren't she? That was the little plan.
Yeah, that's why Block went to the Syndicate homeworld in the first place. If he could get there, murder the syndicates, and then come back victorious, that was a sealed deal for him. He was going to be a dictator unless somebody, like, I don't know, a certain politician stopped him. So
what this book done good is kind of the reason why he would have been able to get away with that is because of how bad the alliance is. The same as the syndicates are kind of falling apart internally. Like, you know, they've got the alliance has got big problems as well. Like, that, you know, this war's been going on. The people aren't happy. The politicians just doing what politicians do. The military people are just fighting constantly. Just lives are dying. You know, it's all. The war would have never continued going anyway. They would have just broke down internally. Both sides would have, what side would have gone first. But there's no way this would have continued going. You know,
Drain on
strain.
resources.
Yeah.
And the author, makes a point to articulate that, I think, when they talk about how the ship is just put together. The welds aren't as nice and polished.
Yes.
And Blackjack, reflecting back to when he, prior to his cryo freeze and 100-year time skip, the difference is there.
Well, ships had a sell-by date, like as in like now they do, where before they didn't. It was like, in theory, you want to keep the ships alive. Now it doesn't matter, that's interesting because it does show that like these ships can fail. They keep going, so they have to change. Like ships are going to have to take longer to be built. Like if I'm guessing the war's going to stop. They have to deal with the aliens. But say this war kept going, but like say Blackjack become a dictator. Let's just say he become a dictator, and like he's like, right, that's it. We're going to do this properly now. We're going to take a little bit longer. That ships will take longer, training would take longer. Stuff would have to change, and yeah.
To get more details on Joe's fanfic of the Lost Fleet series, could potentially be the actual plot, might not be, no spoilers, but Blackjack becomes the dictator.
You can have a good dictator. I know they've had a bad track record. They really have. None of them have done themselves any justice. But you could be a good dictator. You could actually care about people, but not in like a communism, in the other ways.
I think that guy you call the emperor. That was Napoleon, right?
Yeah, but emperors, dictator's not a strong word. Emperor.
We go down that rabbit hole a little bit with Blackjack. Yes. I don't think we had it as much, that lurking beast in the background that could just do what he wanted, get away with it.
There is actually, if you remember in the book during the, I don't know if I think it's the last battle, not Lakota, but the one that comes after that with the Nico CEO that was in second command. It was like where he got so confused with all the time delays, he started to panic and shut down. And it's like, you thought you were Blackjack, didn't you? Is something that came into his head once he actually passed off the responsibilities to his things. So it's like there is a little something there. It's like he knows it, and sometimes it sneaks up on him, but something manages to stop him just before he becomes the Captain Falco Geary that, before he becomes Captain Falco, who thinks he actually could do anything. It's like he couldn't do that. So he started to panic when, the Blackjack started to take over his personality. It's like a demon he has to fight. It's like he tries to fight it in all his subordinates. He tries to fight it in himself, and then he uses it to his advantage with the syndicates to scare them.
I kind of find that whole Blackjack thing with him quite forced, because that's not how he is. That Blackjack was a made-up character that they use as a propaganda. He's not like that, but because they keep saying it, and Ryan keeps saying it, it's kind of like in his head, and he's like, "Oh, I might become it." But like, he's not like that. How he acts and how he is how he is. He might get a bit excited and go this way, or then whatever. But like, he's not like that, or else he would have been like that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I don't want to say I'm trying to disagree with you, but everything after that is the truth.
You can say,
but
just say, Joe, you're talking shit.
He needs to put a name to the demon. So who is the bad side of Geary? It's going to be Blackjack, the god the Alliance created to give their fleet courage. So when he has to blame something when he's going wrong, even though, he likes beating himself up a lot, it's like when he gets overconfident, what do you call that? Do you call it John Geary, or do you call it Blackjack? You call it Blackjack to give the demon some form, some blame.
Yeah, so you're passing the buck on.
Phil. So, yeah. We didn't get as many good Blackjack quotes this book, or did I just miss them? weren't we on track for, oh, Blackjack would have done this, or do it like Blackjack?
I think people have learned by this book to. I mean, I don't remember which books it's been in, but it's like in the first book, it was like Blackjack would, and they'd all freeze and shock. It's like, wait a second, this is Blackjack. I can't do that.
They finally realize who they're around now.
Going back to do you want to keep talking about this, Rams? Or we're going to talk about something else?
I just wanted to talk about like his influence on some of the good ship captains, like what he's done. Like it was really highlighted in Johnny this time, where at the beginning she was willing to bomb civilian planets. By the end of it, she hoped beyond hope that she would never have to fight that boy.
Yeah, and she was happy that actually saved him as well, because she was against that at first. And
so to think like her, because this hasn't been a long time. It was what, maybe a month, 2 months. She's changed that much, and Dulios and Cressida and some of the other captains, they've all come around. Like the way that the fleet now thinks is different than the rest of the Alliance now thinks. Like they're like, when they come back into Alliance space, there's going to be a big issue where they don't think the same anymore.
No, I agree with that. There's going to be a lot of issue, because they're going to come back with a substantial amount of ships. I mean, the last book's called Victorious, so I've got a funny feeling. I don't know if it's in the name or not. I don't know, but
no, there's a ship named Victorious.
Yeah,
that's the theme. Dude. That's how we pick it.
Okay. Let's just say they're victorious. What Ramsey said. Like, there's going to be an issue, because they're going to be like, right. We've got the key. Unless the key doesn't make it, but we've got the key. We've got John, Geary, Blackjack. We all kind of think maybe we should bomb them. We can work out. They've already set the seeds like of issues with that CEO guy. And, the Alliance, like, they're like, no, that's not how we do it. We have to keep throwing our battleships, not battleships, the battle cruisers, leaving the battleships behind. Stupid ideas.
Dude, when he said that told the CEO that, oh, this will financially benefit you, he's like, oh, I'm on board.
Yeah, I like that idea. Something I like about this book is it's paying off now with the way Geary's been nice to civilians, not done all the stuff. It's all them seeds he's been dropping with all the people he's left alive and all that stuff is paying off now. And you're starting to see it, and like there is issues within the CEOs of the syndics and stuff. Like they've got big time, like all the hits he's doing, all this stuff. I think he's about evened up now, isn't he? I think he is evened up now.
Yeah.
So like they're on even terms, and the fact that they're still alive, they're so close. The syndic, it's crumbling on the syndic side, and but what he's doing is paying off now, and I do enjoy that. It's good to see the seeds. Growing, sprouting into stuff.
Get some of those feel-good feelings back up on our, emotional roller coaster high before we get to the final act. And
and then Geary dies. I know it. That's what's going to happen.
Trying to see if the next book says if we're even or not. I think we're pretty close to being even, though.
I think they are now.
I'm pretty sure they make a point of bringing it up in book 4. And it might even be Dejani that says like everything we've lost, Yeah.
Well, if you remember in the thing with Kafiro, with the CEO, that's where Geary was like boasting to him. It's like, we're even now. We've destroyed Sansir. We've destroyed, all these fleets. We got that stuff at Lakota. We defeated you here. And it's like, what more do you have? What can you marshal across time and space to come and fight us? So
I'm laughing at it. He keeps flicking the screen. And every time it does that, I'm going...
Yeah, that's why my eyeballs are like, stop flicking the screen.
I'm such an arse.
Joe, he makes such a fun face every time we do it. Like, catch it on our replay reel. There we go.
My partner hates me. I do. So I did something earlier, and I just was like this. I'm looking over and I just looked at like... Like, I don't. She hates me. I drive her mad. Sorry. Anyway, back to the book.
For more funny faces, links below. Follow Joe.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, at the end of my videos, I've always got bloopers of me doing something stupid, like dropping a cup, knocking over my camera. I stand up, I sit down too hard and squish me things, and they get hurt. I'm like, "Oh!" Every time. Oh, I'm horrendous on.
The so are we ready to go into like me and Joe's
Tinfoil
assumptions?
hats. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah,
okay.
put it on.
And
Got to work
while you
on
guys-
poker face. So,
so I say
I was gonna say, stare at me. And he's gone.
I say the alliance. They make it back to alliance space next time, and then they're fighting internal battles, all of victorious. They're dealing with all that nonsense. But I would think that I think the war ends at the end of victorious, and like then they'd go deal with the alien threat. So I'm excited for all that. I think we figure out in the next book who the guy who is trying to destroy Geary is, or guy or gal, whoever it is. And are we going to have one more big battle? Maybe right at the edge of alliance space, I would think.
Something I'll talk about before I go into my tinfoil things. I liked what he was saying about the aliens, where like the reason why they're doing it is because the aliens, even though they're bordered up against the syndics, the aliens might be bordered up against other aliens, so they've already got issues over there. And then with the humans, you know, over there, and the fact they said that they got double crossed as well, because they thought the because the syndics attacked these points, but like weren't all strategically sound reasons to attack them, but the stronger places wasn't attacked, and they thought, or the theory was that the aliens were supposed to attack them, but the aliens didn't. They left them, so they then got into a battle with the alliance. You know, I like all of that stuff.
Be 100-year distraction.
Yeah. The thing is, though, like the fact that he's brought up that there's two aliens, that there might be two species of aliens. You know, there's the aliens who are bordering the syndics, and there's the aliens that they might be fighting. Let's go with that. So there's two possible aliens out there. If they're out of war, they've got an issue. This issue of the syndics needs to be fairly tied up or resolved to a point. You know, they've already planted the seeds. There's two more books that can be done on. So probably by the end, you know, victorious. I think it's not just called victorious because they crossed the line. I feel like they're a truce, and then it's like, okay, now there's an alien problems, which is what the new books are. The Beyond the Frontier or whatever it is. I think that's not the yeah. So that's kind of what I think.
I got the first 3 in that series too, so I'm ready to go. Whatever we get.
Yeah, I've got some there as well. I've got Beyond the Frontier as well.
Yeah, I got Beyond.
No, that's what I've got that.
What is it? Vanguard? No, that's Genesis Fleet. I've got some Genesis Fleet too.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them. Yeah, they're going to be fine. Do you reckon the aliens make a show? Do you reckon an alien ship or a little bit of a squabble just to kind of really give you a tease about what's going to happen?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You know, because
they would have to come so far to attack the Alliance. I don't know if they will or not.
But they control the hypernet gates. They can use Alliance gates. They could use whatever gate they want. I'm pretty sure they've got the master key. You know what I mean? Just to zip all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they could move people when, like, we didn't even think they could do it. I mean, they obviously know the hypernet gates a lot more than we think they would.
Yeah. Oh. Makes my eyes squint more than usual.
All right. So we got our opinions and assumptions done. What are you guys excited about for the next book? What's your most excited?
Finding out who the person is who's up against Geary, the one that the man who's in control of the worm, who's doing the wormy stuff. You know, that guy or girl, whoever it is. I just haven't got a clue. Like, I've got these ideas, but I don't know. Like, is it that captain that begins with a D who's like, I don't support you if you become a dictator? Which wouldn't surprise me if it is him, because
I don't think it's Doulos. He'd already had so many opportunities to be the bad guy.
But that could be the card he's playing. Like, the thing is, I'm probably wrong, but like, his ship wasn't targeted to jump. His was going to stop. But the other captain, it's Dauntless, the sea captain woman, whoever, the one who does all the sciencey one. It was hers, and it was
Cressida.
one other.
It was Cressida, Geary, and I think it might have been either Two Loves. I think it was Two Love.
No,
Yeah.
it started
Or-
with a B. It was a B.
Oh,
The guy that wanted him to be the dictator.
I
Yes,
know. I'm
that's
trying.
it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
so
It's
like
that guy.
the fact it
Balder.
was them, and we all know that the D captain is a big, you know, he's a fanboy of, you know, Geary as well. Like, not to be a dictator, but he's always been kind of pro him from the beginning, and he's the one who's finding all the information. He's a bit sly, you know, with like getting information and stuff. I can see that smile on your face over there, you know, like I just feel like it's him. I do. It's just because he's just the quiet one. He's from the beginning. He's always been there. You know, he's like, oh yeah, no, you know, I would
like,
support you.
If he's afraid of him becoming the dictator, why did he work so hard to secure his power in the first place?
Because they needed to survive. He wants to survive. They needed to get back. You know what I mean? He knew they weren't going to make it. The fact they weren't going to make it, was they? They was all going to split, go their own way, and all die. He could unite them. They're nearly there. They're not far away from it. Now, Christ, I'm on full zoom now. You see my messing with them. The fact they're on like full, you know, they're nearly there. It's all. I do feel like, I don't know. It's got to be someone we know, or it's just boring. If they just insert new baddie, it's like, oh,
That's kind of been his
Yeah.
MO, though.
yeah, it has.
And let's not forget, in one of the books, I don't remember if it was this book. I don't think it was. It might have been the last one. That there was at some point, Geary said it was like, if I die, Duellos, you take this fleet home. So it's like he's got he's got a foot in that door, no matter how slim a chance that is. He's got a foot in that door. So
Yeah, he's definitely second in command.
And the fact he said, like, oh, I don't want it. No. He's already a captain of a ship. He's got ambition to a
and a
degree.
battle
You know what I
cruiser
mean?
too. So
That's what I'm saying.
that's
You're only in a battle
best
cruiser.
part.
You lot are just like playing me along. You know it's not him. You're just
No.
like, yeah, Joe, go on,
No,
tickle me.
I
Go on,
think-
yeah, that's it, Joe.
Look, I think it's
A valid.
it's a really cool
theory.
discussion, because when I first read the series and every other time afterwards, it doesn't really matter, like to me, who it was. It was just when I got to the end, it was like, wow, it was this person, or wow, it was this person. So hearing somebody else do this brainstorming, because I do think it's interesting, because as you bring up these points, I go back to what I know and I go, that's right, there is something here that points to this, but there's something here that points to this, but I know this. And it's like, I think it's a good point.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing or misdirection. Find out next live stream we do on one of those guys' channels. Have we decided?
It's
You
me.
that one, middleman.
It's my turn.
We'll make sure to include all special links and stuff and places and things.
Yep.
Find them.
Well, this was fun, guys. I had a blast. Relentless starts up in a few days, right? What's the date today?
Today's the
24th.
24th.
So we have 7 days, right?
Oh yeah, it's not that long.
Discussion 24/7 of this read along on Ramsey's channel.
There's a whole thing list dedicated to it in the Discord.
Yes.
A lot of talking going on there.
You'll hear, what's his name? What's Bob's name?
Rowdy Bob. He's in South Korea, so he's 14 hours ahead of us. I'm Eastern time zone,
so he's already watched this stream.
Yeah.
You guys are missing out.
Yeah, he does like to tell us how like the old dialogue is. Like, dialogue is terrible. 2 out of 5 stars, I'd give it. The action's okay. It's like, we're here for the action, man, not the dialogue. Okay, if I wanted dialogue, I'd be going to somewhere else. It's military hard. I think it's hard military sci-fi, isn't it? This one?
Yeah, it's hard sci-fi.
I think it's like, you know what I mean. I'm not going for like I'm not going for romance. Good dialogue.
He is right though. When we get in the conference room, I'm like, like the rest looks great. Get in the conference room, I'm like,
the way Geary's like, he's like, oh, the conference room. I'm like, oh, I know what you mean. Like, oh, here we go again, and then it's the same 2 people. Oh, wow.
Those people get in trouble, and they add 2 more that are going to start trouble.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm glad they're all dead and gone now.
There's always somebody who's got to make trouble.
Yep.
This is why I like the
question
worm.
for the new guys. All right. 2/3 of the way through series 1. overall impressions thus far on the journey. Because it's completely new. You haven't read anything from Jack Campbell.
Mm-mm.
First pass on the Lost Fleet, going into the final act. Thoughts, opinions?
Oh, I like it. I'm enjoying it. I've got a hair that's tickling my nose, driving me mad. Oh,
watch
it's
Joe pick his notes
Oh.
live next time.
It's doing my head in.
This
is one. There's one that just flicks up, and I have to snip. Well, usually I just cut my beard off,
Okay.
but like it's just tickling like this.
Back on point, Joe.
Man.
Thanks, details.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
This whole stream.
I like it a lot. I like the hard sci-fi element of it. I think the way that he, like, you can definitely tell, and I think I've said this before, like he's a military guy, so you can tell, like, he talks about a ship the way the ship's supposed to be talked about. I'm assuming he's probably been in naval battles, which makes it easier for him to at least simulated naval battles. I don't know when the last time we had naval battles was, but you can definitely, like, that's the part that he excels at. I mean, he struggles with dialogue, and he may get better as the series goes along. Like, we get into Beyond the Frontier or all the way into Genesis Fleet, which is, I think, Geary's grandfather.
Genesis Fleet is yeah, I think you were right. I thought it was like the Great, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. And by the way, I think I don't. I have a terrible memory because I always fast forward through the parts, but the audiobooks do actually have a foreword from the author, and where he narrates about stuff he writes about or his experiences. And he was actually in the Navy, so.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where a lot of this accuracy, his naval accuracy, comes from.
So yeah, I really enjoy it. Like the whole light speed conversation about not being able to see, like when you get in system, like you see what's there, but they don't see you're there for hours. Like that's a really cool conversation to think about, like how light travels through the universe, and I've really enjoyed that aspect of the book, or books, 4 of them.
No, I do. I enjoy everything. Most of the stuff I've enjoyed. The dialogue didn't overly bother me as well. Cause I just built on the stuff, and like, you know, the Ryan and him and Geary, that was the only thing that was the most annoying out of all of it. But like, they still had their moments. You know, it's a bit of drama and stuff. It kind of makes you really want to get into the action. So when the action happens, it's like, oh, finally, you know, it's like a bit more of a build up. I am liking the fact that the worm, that's the new baddie. You know, he's obviously had feedback from like the last 3 books, and that's why this book is like, right, kill them off, get rid of them. They're obviously an issue. The worm stories come in with like whoever the new problem is. He might have had an idea, but I think the fact that they just died on a ship, get them out of the way, is like, right, okay, we need no one's liking a replacement for thingy. Yeah, everything. I'm enjoying it all. Yeah, I wouldn't read it if I didn't. Yeah, that's it, really.
And then I can't remember if we discussed it on the live stream or if it was before. Admiral Star Knight, you've read a couple of the series after this.
I have read Beyond the Frontier and The Lost Stars. So,
have you read any of his other series, or just those?
I have not. I haven't read anything. It's like I'm very picky about what I like to read. If I had to pick one thing to read for the rest of my life, naval, space, anything, because the action is right. It's like I can't get into ground battles all that much. They kind of bore me, but the Navy aspect of the Lost Fleet and other things like this is what pulls me in. So that's why I have like 5 read-throughs of this series and other series other like it, rather than, you know, only 1 or 2. So
Did you read any of the Expanse stuff?
No, I don't. No.
I've read just the first one, and I enjoyed it. It was one ship instead of a fleet. And then there's like they spend a lot more time like personal talking about like what's going on, and there's like a bio weapon. Yeah, it's more space opera.
Yeah.
You said the Honor Harrington series is really, really good, right?
Yes,
parts of it?
asterisk, asterisk after that. Because the thing is that as time has gone on, it's like I've sort of, at first it was like I'd read the whole series because, and then I started only sticking to like the first books because it sort of goes from like this Navy space opera to this grand space opera, which has Navy laced into it. Because when you get into the later books, they get really confusing because it, unlike what Campbell's been doing with the constant reminders, Weber does have a continuality lockout where if you haven't read past a certain point, you're going to be hopelessly lost if you haven't read the books beforehand. But it is a series I would recommend, but I do have my gripes for some of the later stuff, which is a discussion for another time. And I've always threatened I was going to make a video about that one problem, which is
you guys
why I
heard
put
it first
that.
here.
Yeah,
Links
it might
below.
there might be a video coming if I can ever get my act together, but that's why that's a yes within a little, notation. It's like, yes, it's good. Go ahead and read it. And then when you finally get past the 5 million pages to get to the end, I can say why there's that qualification on the end of that yes.
That's quite a commitment. But what series is truly flawless? Bringing it back to Lost Fleet, obviously we're not reading it for the dialogue. Every story has its flaws, but they can still be epic and worth binging over and over and over again.
I totally agree.
Just not enough hours in the day to read.
Yeah, that's why I definitely recommend the the audio books. No sponsorship here, by the way. When I just keep saying it's like I use Audible a lot, but
yes,
that's where I got I got my Lost Fleet shit. So
are you a 1Xer or
a what?
A 1Xer, or do you mess with the speed on the
No. No, are you kidding me? I couldn't. I could never. I could never listen to faster, but the Honor Harrington series, I listened to the audiobooks. I gained in some fashion. They're older copies. They only go up to a certain book. They're read by some other person. Her name's like Madeline Bazard or something. And they're so old they had cassette sides. So there's a point at where it's like if you flip over here, but I like them better than the Audible versions. But yeah, the audiobooks allow me to, when I'm at work, working in my refrigerator in the back, I can just listen to the books straight through for 4 or 5 hours straight, however long my shift is, on the way home.
Yes.
I do
those extra hours. Yeah.
I'll be working on an elevator, doing something with a wrench and got my headphones in, and people come up and scare the crap out of me. And it's like, yes, do you need something? But yeah, audiobooks are awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think that is it. We've passed the 1 hour mark. So we will get with you. Check my Discord for the next live stream. That will be next month. So I'll let Carl close it out because we're actually on his channel and I was taking over.
All good. Thanks for
Dictator. He's in his blood. I know it.
Bye.
See you guys.
See you later.